Everybody. This is Mr. Ecker coming to you live from the school on fall break. And I'm going to do a series of videos for China. We're going to move on to Japan when we come back from fall break next week, and we'll move on from there. So hopefully you will enjoy this section of notes. By the way, the do now, we've gone over the famous things that you are located in China. We went over a whole entire bunch of inventions that we are all from China that we'll get to in a little bit. But there's lots of things that come from China, and not just the modern stuff that we talked about. But today we're going to play a game, and we're going to learn about the geography of China and Japan as well. So if you remember, anything in yellow you should write in your own words. Anything in red, make sure you copy down exactly. Anything in green, you do not have to write at all. So we are moving from, and I'll do a little music here. We're moving from Europe, spinning the Dark Ages, over to China, and then after that, Japan. So we'll move on from there. First thing we are going to talk about is geography. So here we go. Your essential question for this section of notes was, what are the geographical features of China? And there are a bunch of them. So I started off this note section with in the clouds. We've done in the clouds before. If you don't remember, I'll give you a picture and you pretending that you're looking up at a cloud, and you write down what you imagine the shapes might look like. And this is the shape that I gave you. It's obviously Asia. I got a lot of different answers from a sumo wrestler to one person said like a smoke monster or an old man or something like that because of the little mouth at the edge of it. Very interesting answers. So hopefully if you see it, you'll remember this is Asia because it's a sumo wrestler or whatever. That's the point of it. So this is going to be the first part of the China notes, and it's going to be all about geography. Is what we're doing. So here we go. So here's a map of China and Japan and the region that we're focusing on. You can see China is the biggest one of this area, and Japan is a very small island, and there is North and South Korea as a peninsula. Those are the ones we want to focus on. So China, right there. Japan, right there. I even circled them for you on your map. So if you don't, you should have printed a map or something. You all should have taken a map quiz, so you should have the map. The big area is China that is circled. I pointed to the Korean Peninsula, and I quoted, because we'll talk about that later. And then I pointed to Japan, which we'll talk about after fall break. There were two bodies of water that we wanted you to know. The Sea of Japan, which is obviously in between Japan and Korea. And then the Pacific Ocean, which is kind of out past Japan, a little bit out there. Then I kind of folded the map down a little bit on the PowerPoint. So here we go. There's a group of mountains on the border of China that is called the Himalayan Mountains. So that's what the mountains are there for. That's what they look like. They have the highest mountain in the world above sea level, which is the Mount Everest. That's the view from there. We have another desert over there, which is called the Taklamakan Desert as well. You don't need to know that. Then we have the coastline over there. And if you didn't know, all of China is bordered by mountains or oceans, huge deserts, and they have protection, so it's pretty nice. The only place they don't have it is the north, so obviously they build a wall there. It's called the Great Wall of China. There were a couple more places I wanted you to label on the map, though. One was the Yellow River, pictured there. The other one was the Yangtze River, pictured there. The Gobi Desert as well. And finally, the Plateau of Tibet. And here is a little cartoon of The Simpsons for the Great Wall.
The Great Wall of China was begun nearly 2,000 years ago in order to repel barbarian invaders.
With these pogo sticks, we'll finally make it over. All right, everyone take a break and come back Monday with 5 fresh ideas.
Can't make it Monday. My kid has a thing.
So there you go. So that's a funny little clip. Sorry that the Plateau of Tibet didn't go off of there. I thought I'd put it on the front, but whatever. This is a clip from a movie called Everest.
A place where dreams are chased above the clouds. A place where only the strong and lucky survive. The top of the world, where the wind is fiercest, is a desolate, deathly place where humans cannot live. Every breath burns the lungs like cold fire. Many have died there on the mountain known as Everest.
So there you go. It's a movie called Everest. It's very good if you ever watch it. It's a really fun movie. So now, well, we played a game where I identified a bunch of stuff. I pointed to it. So if you want to do that, do it. If not, we're good to go. This area of China, this geography, is very good land for farming. What they're farming is rice. More than 90% of the world's rice comes from, Asia. They are bordered by the Himalayan Mountains, the Taklamakan Desert, naturally protected on all sides, except for that northern part, which is protected by a wall. Their economy is mostly based on the Silk Road. We did a whole simulation on the Silk Road. If you don't know, it's a sea and land trade route that stretches from China to Europe. And the boundaries that they have in China really isolated them, which is one of our vocabulary words. Eventually, they realized they needed trade, so they created this Silk Road, and they opened it, which allowed not only things to come in, but most of the ideas and inventions that we talked about in China to spread outward. China didn't use it itself a lot. They did sometimes, but it was mostly for merchants from other places. It connected Europe with Asia. They actually stopped using it for a bunch of time because they just didn't like foreigners. But they unfortunately needed the money, so they kept it going. So I did this last year. You don't have to do it. I did a little writing story, but you don't have to do that now. So hopefully you enjoyed the geography part. We're going to keep going here with the next part here in a second.